Hello everybody and welcome along to ERL Season 7, round number 5 here in Catalonia for the Spanish Grand Prix. And as you can tell, I'm not Owen, his internet is died, he'll be back with me next week and you hear a different voice in the commentary box. I'm Jess and I'll be joining this commentary box for pretty much the rest of the season, but to fill in for Owen this week we have Austin. Hello Austin.
Hey Jess, how are you doing?
I am doing good, and we have a lot more drivers than last week, so the admins have definitely done a good job getting these drivers in ready for a cracking race we've got in store.
Yeah, Catalonia always a track that drivers look to. It's very controversial. Some drivers like it, some don't. We've seen some in real F1. We've seen some rather boring races here, but in the virtual world, I can tell you, the races I've seen here in F1 2018, I haven't seen any in F1 2019 yet, but on last year's game, there were some cracking races on this track. I don't know how they do it in the virtual world, but somehow it works out.
Yeah, it doesn't matter if it's dry or wet, it always brings some amazing battles and possibly people trying out some moves that we possibly haven't seen before. Maybe because it's virtual, you won't suffer any incidents due to it. And there's some drivers that are joined this week. I need to make sure who I know. I know Matt Tibos has joined this week. We've got Rain is also here as well. Speed Barry. We've got a wide variety of drivers that's just joined this league, which is great to see. And I wonder how they're going to stack against the ones that have been in the league since the start of the season.
Yeah, the one driver I would pretty much not focus on, but one driver I would have an eye on is Speed Barry. You just mentioned him there in the Ferrari.
Yes.
And he has been very, very strong in the F1 Esports Challenger Series, which is basically the second tier, the F2 of F1 Esports. He has won the first race on the PS4 in this series, which is absolutely incredible. And he came pretty much out of nowhere. I've never heard of him before. I've never seen him race in any league before. And he shows up out of nowhere and wins that race. So Speed Barry certainly has what his name says, a lot of speed.
I have seen him in other leagues and he's mega quick, but I haven't seen him win as much races in some leagues. But it's actually good to see him succeed well in a virtual world. So he might be a force to be reckoned with in this league as well. And obviously Truesdale was in this league as well. He was in the F1. He was in Williams, I believe, last year, and he was in the Pro Draft this year. So it's good to have some esports names, to be honest. But speaking, well, we're gonna move on from the drivers for a minute and speak about strategy. I don't know if you agree, Austin, but the softs, they don't last very long here. I think probably a lot of people would either do their lap on the hards or the mediums, but even the hards can get up to temperature. So I think we can see a lot of people on the mediums unless the wet decides to come into play during the race.
Yeah, and you can see it already. You see a lot of drivers right now out on the hards, which to me is always the number one indicator that they will run their final lap in qualifying on the medium. So right now, this is pretty much the calm before the storm. The drivers out, getting some more practice time in. They're not seeing this as the qualifying just yet. And it will, at the end of the day, pretty much just be a one-shot qualifying with 2 minutes left, 1 minute left. That's when it turns into a one-shot qualifying for every driver. And whoever gets the best spot on track, that is certainly something that they have to look out for, that they are on the right spot on the track, but also who gets the fewest errors on their lap. Who makes the fewest errors on their lap will, at the end of the day, be in pole position, because you only have, as I said, one shot. That's all you get here on the mediums, because every driver only has one set of fresh medium tires for this qualifying session.
Yes, because on the harder option you get 2 softs, 1 medium and 1 hard. So you get more softs more than anything, but I'm guessing the game wants you to qualify more on the softs than the mediums or the hards, which is interesting. But you can change that, but most of the time it doesn't work. So you just really got to give your all. That's why lots of people on the hards. But first person to set a lap, well, the pole position at the moment is, I need to apologise if I butcher these names because this is the first time I'll be doing this. Kalkas, or Kalkakus, I don't even know. He's in a Mercedes anyway, and he's on pole 1:18.6 on the hards. And Nolan just comes in there, he just smashes that on the hards, 1:18.2. But I haven't commentated on a top tip before on this game around Spain, so I wasn't expecting how what the lap times were going to be. But 1:18.2 is megally quick, so I think we should see the 1:17s here today, I expect.
Yeah, considering the difference between the mediums and the hards, it will definitely go down to the 117s. I would be very surprised if that doesn't happen. However, what I would not be surprised by is if we see the pole sitter, maybe even the front row, qualifying on the softs. Because there's always these one or two drivers that for some reason they think, two-stop, yeah, I'm gonna make it work with the softs, because you can't do a one-stop on these softs. They degrade, they wear out so quickly that you cannot possibly do a one-stop. A two-stop, soft, medium, yeah, that's something, that's a strategy that is definitely possible here, but one-stop soft hard is not available to these drivers. No matter how good you are at managing these tires, it's impossible.
It is, and if you start on a soft, you're more than likely to either a soft medium stint, or maybe a soft medium hard if you can't push your mediums too much. And to be honest, if we see people on the softs, they will be like incredibly fast guys, and we might see people try go on softs towards the end if they're right at the bottom and they want to get fastest lap. We have seen people do that in the past. I do believe there's a fastest lap point still available, and I've just seen a racing point almost gone wide there. Hopefully, I think it's to let the Haas of Lakitu through, as I believe he's on a lap at the moment. He's on low ERS mode at the moment. I'm guessing he might go on another lap. One advantage of going on the hards, you can go on more than one lap on the hards, just so you can get a feel for the track, and so that's what Lakitu's doing. He's come across the line now. He's in fourth, so he's around about, if I look at the times, he's around about 4/10 behind the leader at the moment. So top 7 looking quick so far, so it is no stopping them, and we haven't seen what the likes of Odem, Speed Valley or Wayne to do yet, or Raikkonen and Medium Pilot. Those are the ones who haven't set a lap time, and Rafa and Lewis hasn't set a competitive lap time yet either, so only time will tell with these guys.
Yeah, for some of these drivers, it's really more of a game of poker right now, because again, you only get that one shot, so you can keep your hand to yourself. You can keep it a secret how much pace you really have. And I think, looking at the times right now, I think Louis and Rafa might also be guilty of that, because those times, either they've made horrible mistakes on their laps, losing 4 or 5 seconds, or they've heavily sandbagged their times. The time when it really matters is once everyone's on the mediums. That's when time really counts. Right now, it's a glorified practice session.
I've just been given an update by one of the drivers, and the end of the race is going to get interesting. It is going to be rain at the end of the race, and it is not just going to be light rain. Apparently, it's going to be heavy rain. So rain in Spain doesn't come too often on this game, and when it does bring crazy ends. So one-stop strategy, I think it's going to fall out the window. So we may see more people on the softs because of that. Because, I don't know, or they might want to go on the hards, I'm not entirely sure. But heavy rain is definitely going to put some people right out of the mix. At times we may see people that are not as quick on the dry tyres, not as quick on the wet tyres struggle. Ones usually good on the wet start to shine. You never know. As generally, if you agree with me, a lot of people practice in the dry. I hardly practice on the wet, and I think it's probably a mistake that is not to be taken lightly, I must say. Not many people practice on the wet, because on the last game it's highly unlikely to be raining. But it's just, I think it's the gut feeling of when these guys are going to pit for some inters or even full wets, because I think all slot of tyres are going to be used today, so it should be interesting.
Yeah, as someone who's been a participant in sim racing for over a decade now, my routine was always to practice pretty much 2 to 3 race distances in the dry, and then one additional race distance in the wet, just so I get a feel for the track, where the where the racing line is in the wet, because it does differ. If the racing line in the dry is not the same as the racing line in the wet, because where the rubber is on the racing line in the wet, obviously that gets a little bit more slippery, and so you want to stay off the racing line and not always go from the outside to the apex, back to the outside again. So I always made sure to do that, but a lot of these drivers don't, and for some tracks it makes sense. Bahrain, you're never gonna get a rain race there. You're never gonna get a wet race there. But Spain, yeah, sure, it's Mediterranean and everything, but it's also on the coast, like Barcelona, Catalonia. That's Mediterranean coast right there. So the likelihood of rain is a little bit higher here, and we see it with the weather forecast right now. But in terms of strategy, I'm telling you what, if there is a driver who will qualify on the hards instead of the mediums, they might be the winner of this, because if the rain hits early enough, they can go with the one stop, hard to intermediate or full wet, depending on how quickly it changes. So that's going to be interesting. Or the other way would be to say a 2 stop, the soft
To the hard?
qualifiers. So no, soft to medium, and then again hope that the rain hits early enough.
That's what
I
I like
think,
about the
depending
strategies.
on when it comes down, that's the guessing game right here. That's the unknown that the drivers get into. When does the rain hit? And that is a guessing game. As much as the graphic tells the drivers, it's going to be in the last sixth of the race. They have like 6 or 7 like little bars there, and it shows whether it's going to be, but you don't know. It could be earlier than that. It could be later than that. It could be that it shows heavy rain towards the end, but the heavy rain hits right as the leader crosses the finishing line to win the race. So it's really, really tough for these drivers to get the right strategy call, and it is a little bit of a gamble here, but that makes it, I think, all the more interesting.
Yeah, it's interesting for us as commentators, but as racers, they're probably going to have their hearts racing, and a few people are not going to like that it's going to rain towards the end, and may put their strategy on hold a little bit. So we're just looking at the times now. Everyone is going out on the mediums. We just had a bit of a limbo stage whilst everyone's going out for their final runs. The top two, we got Speed Barry on pole, which is not really a surprise at the moment. He set his best time on the hards, so he just goes with best. There we go. They're on the mediums at the moment currently. But Nolan, 42,000 separated between those two, so pretty close between those two. We may see a shout between those. And also Matt Tibos as well. Matt Tibos, 64,000 separated between them. And then between 4th and 13th is another 7/10. So it is... we've got a mighty quick field. A lot of these guys obviously race in other leagues as well. I'm not going to mention them unless the admins will allow me to, but they're known for obviously being in the higher tiers and producing great results. So I'm actually going to see if anyone is on a quick lap. I do believe Nolan's on one now. He's just going through the start of sector 2 now. He's just going to kiss the right apex a little bit. You've got to stay to the right to get the best possible turn, and then one of the only DRS straights on the circuit, as well as the start-finish straight, where we'll probably see the most overtake in this race. And also, there's a lot of corners where you have to brake a lot. There's most tracks where you could just brake a little bit and you'll get around the corner fine. But this track, you have to brake pretty much fully in order to make sure you get to the corners, and that is what's known as trail braking. As we've got Nolan coming across the line now. We'll see what lap time he gets sell. Oh, Lewis, 1:17.9. What does Nolan say about that? He gets pole, 1:17.4. So that's pretty decent. And Lewis has said his best lap time on the hards. And Kalkas, I don't think he can improve, so he has retired. So 42 seconds to go. Still people out on the lap. is people's final chance to get in their laps, Austin.
Yeah, and now is when it really counts. As I said before, for every driver, they have one shot really, and if you mess it up, well, that's bad luck. That's tough luck for you. And you're going to have to start outside the top 10, which would give you at least free tire choice, and then you can risk something. So that's also going to be interesting. If you mess up here, it might be a blessing in disguise, actually, with the weather forecast, because you might actually end up on the right strategy accidentally if it happens to be that way. So it's really interesting to watch this right now. Let's see, Rafa now is second in the Ferrari with a 117.7. We have a lot of drivers out on track right now. Zach in fourth. He just came across the line. Speedbar in fifth right now. But he is still on the hard, so he is on his fast lap right now. This is the one, and he comes through the final sector, through the chicane.
He's on the mediums.
Yeah, he is on the mediums right now, but he set his fastest lap on the hards so far. But he is on the mediums right now, so he does come across the line and should improve to provisional pole. 117.2. Very, very strong lap here. Beats Nolan by 1.5 tenths almost. Nolan is not on a fast lap right now. He is on an in lap. He has no ERS deployment. And yeah, for him, the session is pretty much over. Rafa, same thing. I think we are pretty much done. No, we have Zach still, who is on a fast run. He's on 20% battery, but still enough as he is in the final sector. So he should be able to at least finish this lap, but those tires will be older. He's on his third lap on the mediums already, so he will have a disadvantage come the race. He is inside the top 10. How far can he improve? He does jump up the table. I think it was 4th or 5th. Let's see, it is P5 for T1000 Zach. And it is Speedbar in his first race here in ERL who takes pole position.
Not really that surprised, to be honest. He came off a very good win in the F1 Esports Challenger Series, and he's come on with his first debut race here in ERL and takes pole by only 1/10, so not that close than we were possibly expected from Nolan, but still quite close. So we got Nolan in second, Wayne has got a good result in third, we got Rafa fourth, Zach fifth, Lewis sixth, Drez seventh, Lakitu eighth. Apologies if I butcher all these names, by the way. Hopefully I will remember for next week. We got Janul 9th, Matt Tibos 10th, Kai Kuz in 11th, Truesdale 12th, Medium Pilot 13th, and I didn't see the rest of the field, but it is a close field, and the top 10, don't forget, they will have to start on the tyres that qualified on, which for most of them will be the medium compounder tyres, and I wonder, will the people in the bottom half go for the hards? If I was them, I probably would.
Yeah, it really is about risking a little bit there. If you're that far down the order, but with the rain looming towards the end of the race, you have to risk something to make it up the order. And why not risk going on the hards? The other way would be to risk it to go on the softs, just to basically get them out of the way for the first like 10 laps or so, and then go on to the mediums when you are in fresh air after your pit stop. Because you do get an early pit stop, which puts you way behind, but then you go onto the mediums, you get really fast tires and in clean air, and then the rain period supposedly hits, and you might have an advantage then. So there are two strategies that may work out, depending on when the rain hits. If it's a little bit earlier, I think the soft to medium is the better strategy here. If the rain hits later, if you expect it to hit, I don't know, lap 22, 23, 24, maybe 25 even, that's when you go onto the hards and try to take this to a one-stop hard to whatever wet tire is the best at the time. Probably the intermediate. But the one thing I'm looking at right now is if we look at the grid compared to the championship standings, I think this is a really good grid for Rafa. He is the leader in the championships right now. He's in 4th place. Speedster, second in the championship, isn't even here today, so he cannot score any points. And Medium Pilot, who's 3rd, only 12 points behind Rafa, he's all the way down in P13, so way behind. And he won last week indeed, so he got closer to Rafa last week, but this time P13 only.
Yeah, but don't forget last week it was Baku, and not many people turned up for that. So that was Medium Pilot's best chance to get a win and close up to his biggest rivals. But now we have more drivers. We are almost at a full grid here. It's going to be very difficult for the likes of the championship leaders to extend quite massively. But it is good to have almost a full grid, because we like that. We don't like only like 11, 10 driver grids, because some of the guys end up retiring, and then we might end up commentating on like 4 drivers. So it is good. It is good to see as the season it is improving race by race, and we have got more drivers. It's just some of them are not here today. We got a few actually at the Belgian Grand Prix, lucky sods. Onyx, I believe, he's a new driver. He's in the Belgian Grand Prix this week, but he'll be back next week. It'll be his first race next week, so I'm looking forward to this race. Should be fun. Are you looking forward to this?
I am looking forward to this very much so, yes.
Okay, we're about to get the starting grid going, and the lights are taking a long time to warm up. And I think it's going to be a while. I think we're waiting for the drivers to ready up, but hopefully it's not going to be a broken lobby state.
Uh-oh.
Oh, wait, the lights
here
are
we
on.
go.
Okay, that's good. I was a bit worried then. So the 5 red lights are coming on, and it is away we go. And Speed Barry's got a very good start off the line from Nolan going into turn 1. Everyone is trying to stop behind the Renault of Zat, doing quite well as well. Rafa trying to sneak in there as well, but look at Nolan. Nolan getting a very good outside line from Speed Barry. Is he going to take the jump from him into turn 1? We've seen a few people in the gravel, but luckily they just got back through the circuit again. But Nolan has dropped it. Wayne is up into 2nd place, and we got Janul that's dropped it down from Lewis into 8th place, and Nolan's back up into 2nd. This is a crazy start, but Speed Barry managing to pull away like he is, and managing to pick up the pressure from the guys behind. So good start from Speed Barry. Almost a good start from Wayne. Nolan had a bad start, but he actually recovered again.
Yeah, I'm looking at the midfield right now. There wasn't... I haven't seen any contact in the midfield, which is absolutely incredible through these first 2 sectors. Absolutely nothing. Maybe there was a little bit of a brush here and there, but not too much. However, I think it was now Lakitu in 6th place who tapped the rear of T1000. We have a yellow flag. What is going on there? I think so. Oh, yes. Oh, wow. Marquez. Marquez is off. And there's debris on the track. There is debris on the track. I think Marquez may have lost part of his front wing. No, Marquez's front wing... Yep. Zalan is... Marquez's front wing is fine. Zalan, I think he's going to come into the pits, and so is Lormans. They probably both tangled up with Marquez. Marquez seems to be fine, at least on the front wing. No damage there, so he can go on. But for Lormans and Zalan, I think this is an early blow, as they both started on the hards. So they will have to switch to the mediums here, and probably stop again later this race.
I think for them, I think they're going to hope that the rain's going to come sooner. Because we don't know, they don't know. Because in a normal dry race situation, if you have damage and have to pick the mediums early on, I would be fuming. I would be like, right, what would I do next? Would I have to scrap the strategy I was doing and do mediums to hard instead? Or do hard, medium, hards? I don't know. But
it's a really tough call.
It is a tough call, but we will have to wait and see as the session goes on. But Nolan doing a very good job keeping up with Speed Barry up front. So Speed Barry has the advantage of being up front, but Nolan is matching on the pace right now, these guys. And we got Janul, who is at 9th place. Look at this midfield train as well. Lewis is right on the back of Lakitu as well. DRS is enabled, but we won't be able to see DRS effective until we've reached turn 9 and 10, where the detection point is, and that's when they'll be able to use the first DRS. Because there is a DRS in the start-finish straight, but the detection zone is just before the end of the lap.
Oh, Speed Barry runs wide.
Oh.
Speed Barry runs wide out of turn 3. That was a bit of a moment for him there.
Yeah.
Thankfully, he held it. And Nolan got a little bit closer there, not too much, as Speedberry was able to use the runoff area there to stabilize the car. But Nolan did gain, certainly, and he is definitely within that 1 second window. Come the DRS zone right here, right now. Will not be able to make an overtake just yet, but he will definitely get closer.
I think most of these guys will get closer as well. I think the ones that potentially could get closer is Lakitu, Drez, and Janor right on the back. Janor's going to try and get the outside of Drez, but unfortunately could not quite make it. Truesdale is also trying to have another look as well. You can see that the DRS is so powerful on this straight. You only have 2 chances of DRS to do it, and if you don't make it on one, you'll have to start finish straight to do so. And just look at this train. I think the only one without DRS is Lakitu, so Lakitu's going to have a disadvantage. Rafa might be on the back of Wayne, so we could see some action there as well. So the first action is Drez on Lakitu. Drez going to take the outside. Is he going to have advantage or not? Look at on this contact. And Matt Tibos, I think, dropped it. I did see a Haas somewhere lose it. I think it's Lakitu. Yeah, it is Lakitu that lost it. So Lakitu lost massively there, but is now up into 8th place. Drez got lucky there and was managing to stay out of trouble, and he stays in 7th place, and he's got to chase Lewis now for 7th, but also Lewis is chasing Zach as well, so that wasn't what I was expecting, but it is what happens at times. You get a bit too greedy and this happens.
Yeah, from the looks of it, what it looked like to me is that I think, I may be wrong here, but I think Janul got a big slide into turn 1 and then just slid into the side of Lakitu. It seems like they're both okay in terms of front wing damage, so no harm done there. But obviously, Lakitu lost time here, and even Janul lost a bit of time. Very, very unfortunate for the two of them. The winner of this pretty much is Drez, who has gotten away from that group a little bit.
Yeah, I don't think... I think he's further behind to make another move, but he's got to push now, because otherwise he's going to have, and Truesdale breathing down the neck. Truesdale's going to see if he can try and make on going to turn 1. He's going to take the inside line this time.
Oh,
and that was close.
Contact. Yeah, there was contact.
So that was, I think that was Kaikas and Raikkonen, I think, up back. But Truesdale was able to make the move on Lakitu, and that is Truesdale up into 8th place. So looking at the positions gained, as we've got Raikkonen, Raikkonen's still going for it with Kaikas, or Kaikas, however you say it. Oh, it's a hard, be careful.
Oh, he squeezes him out wide. Very, very robust move there from Kalkas, showing him the door. And Raikkonen has to concede there at that point. There was no way. But yeah, Janul and Janul and Truesdale tangled up before, and Janul spun around in turn 1. And he's now down all the way to 15th place behind his teammate Marquez. So very, very unfortunate there for the Red Bulls. They're going to have to work their way up in this race. But it is 33 laps long. We still have 28 to go. Oh, sorry. 28 to go. So a lot of time as Nolan has a little look into turn 1 on the inside of Speedberry, but decides against it. Probably a good call right there, to just be patient a little bit longer and maybe try to get away from Wayne and Rafa behind them, as they are both fighting as well.
Yep, the battle for the lead is still going strong between Nolan and Speedberry. We will potentially see some moves pretty soon as well. But the biggest gainer has got to be Truesdale and Raikkonen. But Raikkonen, as I think make a little bit of a mistake. So Truesdale is definitely the one that's getting the most out of this situation. Now we do have a yellow flag and set to 1 and 2.
I'm looking. I don't see anything. I don't see why, and it's gone. Gone. I didn't. There was no one spun. Maybe a little bit of debris somewhere, but I couldn't figure out where or who was responsible for that. So
no, I didn't see that. Sadly, I didn't see who it was. So it might have been someone just moved out of the way or something. They might have. I don't know, but it is the race anyway, so it's the thing, because every time I go and see if there's a yellow flag, usually sometimes it just it's just the game trying to catch us out or something, but you never know.
Yeah, it sometimes feels like it, but here comes Nolan. Slipstream, DRS, goes to the inside, and again decides against it. He was a little bit too far away at this time as well. I think what he needs to do is he just needs to get a better third sector, and then he has a chance. Or maybe get a better second sector to then attack into the other DRS zone. But either way, he seems to struggle on the dirty air behind Speedbarry here. He seems to struggle in the technical sector. Maybe there's a bit of a difference in setup between the two that we might deduct from this, with Speedbarry having a bit more front wing than Nolan, and therefore being superior in the corners, but inferior on the straights.
Yes, and I think that's what is helping. He's choosing to stay back for now, and I don't think we're seeing any other big movers at the moment. Fourth position, I think Truesdale's out of DRS from Dres, so he's no longer going to make the move, but he's getting a bit of time on him, so you could see them back pretty soon as well. And in terms of people wanting to pit, the mediums, they'll have to pit sooner, around about lap 12 to 16, and I don't think the rain's going to come then, because obviously the rain's going to come towards the end, about probably, I would say, lap 20, I'll say lap 22, I think, if it's going to be heavy rain anyway, is Nolan again deciding not to, but Rafa's got the move past Rain, and he's up into third. Now, I know Rafa and Rain, they're very good friends in the sim racing community. When they battle hard, but they keep it clean on the racetrack. They are friends in online world, but on the racetrack, they are rivals, so... But it is nice to show that they are giving respect from each other. And Rafa's in the lead in the championship. And I think he must be happy that his rivals are nowhere to be seen at the moment in this championship fight. And the only other rival in fourth is Marquez. He's in 14th. So he's going to extend his lead by quite a lot. But I wonder, obviously, because Speedbarry or the likes of those, the ones who haven't got any wins yet, and they might climb up the order very quickly. You never know. Rafa's lead may not stay for too long, and maybe in a few races' time the championship might turn on its head. We have seen stuff like that.
Yeah, we have, and it's very interesting to see. Looking at the standings, we had 4 different winners in the first 4 races. We had Speedster winning the Open in Australia, Rafa in Bahrain, Louis then winning in China, and Azerbaijan was won by Medium Pilot. And Speedbarry right now, from the looks of it, or Nolan, they both haven't won a race yet this season, because for Speedbarry it's his first race, and I think for Nolan, yeah, for Nolan as well. They're both new to the series, and they're dominating right now, P1 and P2. And it might actually turn the series on its head, as you said, because now with 0 points and both 64 points down on Rafa, they might catch him quite quickly.
Yeah, they will. They're definitely going to be threats, and obviously Rafa knows Speedbarry. He's raced him before, so we shall have to wait and see. Now Nolan, I think, is getting closer on Speedbarry this sector, but I don't think he's going to have the edge. Oh, there's a little bit of a touch there.
I think so, yeah.
I don't think there was damage caused for many of the cars, so
nope.
Luckily they're alright, but hopefully they won't get into too much contact, because otherwise it will turn on his head, I must say. But it's nice to see that these two have been on it since the very first lap and keeping each other instead as well.
I think here we go. I think this is going to be the opportunity. Oh no, he lost too much through the final corner, and he's too far away again. I thought he was so close.
No.
But he was not using any ERS deployment. That's why. He didn't even get close, because he wasn't using any ERS.
Neither was Speedbarry.
He's saving right now. He's on 98%, and Speedbarry, yeah, but Speedbarry's down on 40. Speedbarry's down on 40% battery charge, 45 now. Nolan has a full battery, 100%. He's actually wasting some energy right now, which I'm not so sure that's the best call for him, but, you know, at least you got some energy to deploy.
Yeah, and I usually make a mistake, because I league race myself. I sometimes make the mistake of using too much ERS when I want to overtake. I sometimes use a lot of ERS mode 5, but at times I'll maybe have to use 3 or 4. I think we'll see a lot of people use ERS mode 4 when they're overtaking. But if they don't want to overtake, they're probably going to stick to 0 just so they can stay on each other and don't be too aggressive, which I think that's what Nolan is trying to do. There's no sign of him pumping up the ERS yet, but I think he's right behind him now, so he's got to bump the ERS mode
Here we go.
now. Here we go.
No, he goes back down. He goes back down. He goes back down to 0. And Speedberry defends with overtake.
Yeah, and I think that's the sensible thing to do for Speedberry up in first. So, yeah, so Nolan decided not to take the risk, but we got...
I'm telling you what. I'm sorry to interrupt. I'm telling you what. I think this is incredibly smart strategically. Because Nolan, right now, I think his sense is, well, the guys behind are at least 5 seconds behind after just 10.5 laps now. So they're not going to be involved in this battle. So it really is a two-way battle for the win right now, at least, between Speedberry and Nolan. And why fight now? If you fight now, you're both losing time. If you both fight now, you invite other people who are 5 seconds behind and more back into this battle. And so just wait it out until lap 20, 25, 30, and then you can battle in the last couple of laps. But now, just let Speedberry get away. Follow him closely, but don't fight, don't attack. Just let it happen, you know. Just go. And it is incredibly smart. That is racecraft. That isn't racecraft 101. That is probably racecraft 401. That's like advanced strategy.
Rafa is in the pit lane. He's gonna
and that is early.
That is early. Actually, no. It is what I was expecting, because it was around about lap 12-ish. Every lap 12 we'll see people pitting. But in this stage,
it's lap 11. It's one earlier.
One earlier. Maybe they want Rafa, because Rafa might be helping his teammate maybe, because he knows that he's ahead.
Is Rafa? Hold on. Is Rafa on the? Rafa's on the mediums again. I think, you know what? I think Rafa expects the rain to hit lap 22, 23, just as you predicted.
He could read my mind. Is he watching the stream? Is he watching the stream? Because no, this is incredibly smart right now. Because again, if the rain hits, you don't need to use 2 different sets of tires. I mean, obviously you will, because you will use the mediums or whatever you have on. And then the rain tire, whether it's the intermediate or the full wet, but you don't have to use 2 sets of dry tires. You just have to use, like, whatever you can get. And the medium is the fastest tire around here, the fastest race tire at least. So, yeah, this is a really good strategic... I didn't even think about that. That is really, really smart to go medium until the rain hits. We've got a battle brewing between the battle for the podium spot. We've got Louis and Rain trying to get the jump. We've got Louis going on the outside line, or Lewis, or how we say his name, and he gets the move done, and he's up into 3rd place. What a strategic move from him. But we got Wayne, who's going to try and make another lunge again. He's still on the highest DRS mode available, so nope, he has dropped it now all the way to 0, and Lewis is on 0 as well, so he's on 48% at the moment, both on even ERS. But I was watching a battle for just a little bit, and the Toro Rosso was looking incredibly strong, trying to close up to VSR Wayne. So he is on a charge right now, and he could be a threat. If he gets the strategy right, he could be one of the contenders for the win. You never know.
Yeah, considering the uncertainty of the rain and when it comes down, there are certainly a couple of scenarios where this whole fight right now between Speedberry and Nolan will be completely unimportant, as they maybe both get the strategy wrong. Here comes Nolan into the pits now. He has had enough of staying behind Speedberry, and he says, you know what, I'm going to change tires, and he will probably go medium to medium as well. And Wayne follows him right in, barely gets the car stopped there on the entry. And no, Nolan goes on to the hots. Let's see what Wayne does. They're the only 2 drivers in the pits right now. It doesn't seem like anyone else is joining. Medium to medium, yep, there is the move that he saw Rafa do. I don't know if he saw him do it, but
They're
yeah,
probably in a party
same
together.
move.
They're probably in a party together.
Then
They
they
are good
know. Then
friends.
they know.
They are good friends in sim racing, like I said. So I won't be surprised if they've done a similar strategy. Even though they're not teammates, they want each other to succeed, and they played a smart move there. And I wonder what Speed Barry's going to do. Now, I wonder, will he think like Rafa? He might have seen what Rafa and Rain has done and change his strategy a little bit, because you can change a little bit. If like you just might decide to go on the hards, but then actually you see what your rivals are doing, and I think the rain could come at this time as well. So I think maybe the mediums may be the best to go, and Speed Barry stays out. So
Yeah.
I think he might go on the. I'm having an inkling he either might go on the softs, or he might try and get his best lap time on the mediums before the rain comes. We shall see. But
You know what I'm thinking? I'm thinking this is the wrong call from him. He should have come in, because now that where is he? Man, now that Nolan is on the hards take a little bit of time to warm up. They're not instantly on temperature. They are quite slow on their outlap. Takes a lap or a lap and a half to really get them up to temperature, and so that's where you can capitalize and work an overcut if you're Speed Barry. So with 2 laps, the hards are on pace, and that's when your advantage on the overcut goes to 0 and maybe even into a disadvantage. So if Speed Barry comes in now, he may find himself behind Nolan.
yes, and that is where you don't want to be. So maybe he's pitted 1 lap. Well, he's maybe not pitted. He might have pitted 2. Well, decided not to pit 2 late. So he is a bit at a disadvantage.
And he still stays out.
And it is getting darker. So, but mediums don't last very long. To be honest, I think I know they last to about lap 16, 18. Maybe I've seen Barry with his crazy strategies, and somehow he makes it work. So he might surprise us and just go boom. I'm hoping that the mediums go on for this time and then go on to the wets. But I don't know at this point. As he's taking a little bit of a gamble here. As Nolan is 1.6 seconds behind Odems, who's also on the hards, but obviously on older hards as well. And we're seeing Wayne on the mediums. The mediums are the faster tyres to be on right now. And I think Wayne and Rafa have definitely played it well here to try and catch up, because they're going to be in a good position when the rain comes, because obviously they'll have to pit again, but they'll be on faster tyres and they'll be able to get better grip when going into the pit lane and stuff, because obviously they'll have much faster lap times as long as they don't push a little bit. So, you know.
Yeah, I'm telling you, who really has the best position right now? It's ILRT Louis, who is on the hard, so he can go quite long into the race. And looking at the skies, I think he might go straight on from the hards to whatever wet weather tire is needed, whether that's the Inter. And then we have a yellow flag in sector 2. Let's see what that is for. I can't. Oh, there's a Haas. Yeah, Lakitu slow, letting other cars by it. I think. Oh, he's
struggling. I think to get his mediums up to temperature. I think.
I think he has. Oh no, he has front wing damage on the right side. The end plate is missing. He has front wing damage. There must have been some kind of incident. I don't know with whom, but he definitely has a damaged car right now. Will he come in? Probably. I mean, that's 2 laps after he came into the pits. Very, very unfortunate for him. And you look at Drez right now. He's on the softs. Came in 3 laps ago, went on to the softs. Usually you would say questionable, but with the rain coming, the softs for what, 5, 6, 8 laps, 10 laps maybe at the most. Yeah, they're a good shout actually. So a lot of different strategies, and I think Speed Barry, he will either pull off the greatest strategy in the history of strategies by going medium to wet weather tire, or he will get a puncture, and everyone's going to criticize him for it and ask him what he thought and why he did that. But right now he's still going strong. He needs that rain to hit. Every lap that the rain doesn't hit, is a bad lap for him.
So he's out.
As
He's
you can
staying
see,
out again.
Louis. Yeah, as you can see, Louis was 7.5 seconds behind Speedbarry. That gap has come down to almost 6.5 now. He's lost a second already. And Louis is looking mighty strong on those hards right now, where Speedbarry is really, really struggling. Those tires are not in a good shape at this point, and Speedbarry at this point is desperate for the rain to hit.
I don't think it's going to hit soon though, because even though it's starting to get a bit darker, I still see sun. And
yeah, it might be better to go onto the softs for Speedbarry at this point.
Yeah, because otherwise it's going to be an issue as well. And the hards, they last about 20-21 laps, which is possibly when the rain might come anyway. So
the thing is,
yeah,
I think they last longer than 20 or 21 laps. Oh, and there's a puncture for Speedbarry, front left.
oh,
There
no.
it is. I just predicted it. I just predicted. He's spinning almost. Oh no, and he is spinning. Oh, Speedbarry, front left puncture.
And Lewis has gone past him. He's left.
And he has left the session. He has given up. Very, very unfortunate. Speedbarry on the wrong strategy.
Yeah.
And he throws it all away on a puncture. Oh my, he tried so much. He tried too hard and was not able to get it done. And now he has to, his ghost has to cross the chicane there, come into the pits. Oh, this is tragic to watch.
That is tragic, but that means Louis is in the lead of this race.
He is, yeah, and that's the benefit of the hard tire. If you start on it, and you can go really, really deep into the race before you make a pit stop, and so deep, in fact, that you might just wait for the rain to hit. But I'm gonna tell you this: if the medium drops off after 18 laps, the hard lasts longer. That is true, but I think also longer than 20 to 21 laps. That is just what is needed on a normal normal strategy. You know, if you have a normal medium to hard strategy, you just need 20 laps out of it. But it can go longer if you need to. Just like you only need 12 to 15 laps out of the medium, but you can go 18 before you hit the puncture. And I think we can see it go 23, 24, maybe 25 if needed, depending on the driver and his skill to manage the tire wear.
Yes, indeed. And another person that's done well in this strategy as well is Truesdale. He's second, but he's 1.8 seconds.
Oh, hold on, 1 second. Hold on. Yeah, the first drops come down. I'm on board perspective with Louis right now on the TV pod, and I saw the first drops hit, and I was like, wait, are those drops, or is that something else? But they are raindrops. The rain is coming down slightly. Too early to switch, but it is here, and you predicted it. Lap 22. We have lap 20 now.
I was kind of right, because it's lap 20.
Yeah, I mean, lap 22, 23 is probably when the pit stops are gonna occur.
The ones on who pitched on the medium, so you know, Wayne and Rafa, they timed it well as well. So,
yeah, they did.
And the top six, they're on the hards. They've timed it well as well. So the ones that benefited from this are the ones in the top six, and we got Rafa, Wayne, and you know, I think those are the only lot that have, and Nolan as well, potentially.
Although Nolan could have used the mediums, that would have been the smarter call probably.
But the ones that have been on those mediums for quite a bit, and the ones that just pitted on the hards, they're gonna have a disadvantage. Oh, Lakitu, he's on the inters already.
Yeah, because he had front wing damage, so he came into the pits, and instead of, there you go, DRS disabled, so the inters are actually the better tire already. Perfect timing from Lakitu. Everyone else is now struggling. Look at this, Louis and Truesdale and Medium Pilot and Marquez, they have stayed out too long. They are one lap out there too long.
Nolan's pitting, sorry. Raikkonen, Rafa, Wayne. Rafa's going for full wet.
Yeah, knowing that the heavy wets are, the heavy rain is going to hit, and both Rafa and Wayne, yeah, they're most likely in a party. Now that we see that,
yeah,
they're both most likely in a party.
I'm almost Most certain
going on
they
the
are.
same strategy, both on the full wets. They saw the weather forecast, and they played it perfectly so far, considering they had to start on the mediums. If they had both started on the hards, that would have been even better for them. But with what they had, it was the right call.
Rain is
Maybe
struggling now. He's
Louis.
all over the place.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
maybe.
right now they're struggling, but I think in the long run there's still 12 laps to go. 12 and a half for them. 12 for Louis and Truesdale, medium pilot, who will all come in and they're struggling even more. This is like skating on ice. This is like Hockenheim, the last corner, where Leclerc put it into the wall, where Hamilton put it into the wall. You know, Hulkenberg put it into the wall. That's the conditions right now for those drivers on those dry tires, and they all come in, obviously. And, look at this, Marquez can't even make the chicane, gets a 3-second penalty for it. But, I mean, what are you going to do? It's so hard on these dry tires in these conditions. Oh, can he make the pit entry line? Yes, he did. Barely.
That was
barely.
close for Modems.
Yeah, and they all go on the they all go on the inters, and Matt Tibbas is now in the lead because he went in 1 lap earlier. Better timing right there. Matt Tibbas now in the lead. This is incredible. We have our fifth leader so far this race. This is incredible.
This is one of the best races I've ever commentated in the Spanish Grand Prix. I think the real life drivers have got to watch this race and follow the lead. To be honest, because this has been sensational and typical that wet weather has the guts to change everything, to be honest. But we will see anyway as rain has, and we got a Williams who was going slow, but I wasn't sure who that was. But that might have been, actually that might have been Truesdale, but I'm not entirely sure. But trying to get their tires up to temperature. But Matt Tibbas has played it perfectly. But knowing that the heavy rain's going to come soon, because it is coming down very hard. I'm riding on board with Matt now. It is so difficult that they're not going to be on those inters for very long before they have to go onto the full wets. It's going to get heavy very soon, but possibly about probably lap 27, lap 30, I think. Probably.
Yeah, the question is how much time do you lose from a pit stop, and how much time do you lose from staying out on the inters?
Yeah.
That is the debate that has to go on in the drivers' heads right now. And ILRT Rafa, I'm looking at his sector times right now, as Truesdale has retired from the session.
Yeah, I did see him struggling. I think that was the Williams I saw struggle.
Did he retire in the pits, I think?
Yeah, in the pits. I didn't see him. Oh, that's
very unfortunate. He was in a great position in P4, and now out of the race. Very unfortunate. Our second retirement.
Technically
a third retirement, considering Bari has disconnected as well.
Yeah,
it's gonna get interesting here with these conditions. 10 and a half laps to go for the leaders, and I wouldn't be surprised if we see somehow Rafa and Wayne make a little bit of a comeback. Right now, it still seems like the wrong call for both of them, but you never know. You never know. It seems like they can actually stick with Zach right now. Let's see the sector times for them.
Wayne's doing alright. He doesn't seem to be struggling at the moment. He's keeping it cautious, which I think is what he needs to do.
Yeah, he still lost a second to Zach in the first sector alone. Over a second. So, the wets still are not the way to go. Oh, he goes wide into the hairpin there.
Yeah.
No. Okay, the inters are the right tire here right now, and they probably will remain to be.
Turn 10 around this track on the wet is hard, especially in these conditions. And yeah, I think they should have gone on the inters and then pitted to the wet tyres. I think they were hoping that the heavy rain was going to come soon, but unfortunately it's not going to work out as well as they should, because looking at the gap to leader a second, it's pretty much a pit stop ahead.
Louis gets a little bit of contact with Kalkers. He tried to make an overtake happen into turn 5, and
He's
now
having
he
a look
makes it
again.
work.
What?
Yeah, and he makes the move stick.
What a
Incredible
move.
stuff from Louis. In a position where you really wouldn't expect it, he gets it done and moves up into second place. There's a slow Red Bull. Ooh, that was
That
dangerous.
was, I
I
think,
think
I
that's
don't...
Janel.
Yep, he's a lap down, so I think that was him. But my, oh my. He made a mistake, Louis, and then he came out of nowhere, and he was like, I'm not giving up on this place. I want to get that position back, and that's exactly what he's done. I think that is the move of the stream so far, so he could still be... I'm going to say this right now. I'm probably going to jinx myself, but I'm going to say right now, I'm going to call it, Louis is going to win. I'm telling that you right now. I don't know.
As long as you don't jinx Charles Leclerc for tomorrow, we're all fine.
I don't say anything for the race. I don't say any
Good.
predictions. I only say predictions about qualifying in real life because that doesn't matter. Because I predicted Leclerc was going to be on pole, and there we go. He went on pole. So.
Yeah, but it works. It works differently in the race. You know, we've seen it in Bahrain,
well, to be honest,
just don't.
There's people that are going to hate me. I don't think Leclerc's going to win the race tomorrow because I think the slipstream in turn 2.
Okay, now you counter jinxed it. That's good.
Yeah, I know. No, it's true because I was speaking to my mum. Anyway, we'll talk about it after the race because we still got this race to follow. I'm just looking at.
Yeah, and Louis is within 0.6 of Matt now. He is gaining very, very rapidly. And it still seems like the Inters are the better tire for this. And you can see Rafa now going in to get onto the Inters. So he says, hey, I lost so much time.
It is heavy though. It is chucking it down at the moment. But
but not enough. Not enough for the full wets apparently.
Ah.
The Inters are still the better tire.
Rain's still out though.
Oh, look at how close Louis is now to Matt. Right on the back there. And with ERS, with ERS on overtake with slipstream, is he going to make the move into turn 1?
He's going to go to the
Matt
inside.
moves to defend.
No, he doesn't go for it. He might try and have a look again. There's a yellow flag in sector 3. But let's ignore that for the time being, as the battle for the lead I think is important. They are starting to struggle a little bit. Matt's had issues I think with his internet because he keeps jumping on my screen, but a little bit, not a lot, but it's a little bit of jerks or something like that. But this might advantage Louis in a way. He's trying. He's probably going to try. Oh,
here,
and make
karting line,
early,
straightening out, karting line, straightening out the car very early, and it's not enough. But it is the way to drive in the wet, and that's why I'm saying you need to practice wet weather racing, wet weather driving, at least one race distance. Because it'll teach you this whole driving the karting line, straightening out the car as early as possible, going a little deeper into the corner and then straightening the car out early to get an early acceleration going, and therefore, gaining speed and getting faster lap times. So Louis seems to have done that, or he's just a natural at it. We don't know. But either way, it works a treat for him right now.
Yeah, it does. He's doing so well. He's trying to find the best move to try and get the best possible overtake done. And look at Kaikas as well. Kalkas, he's well on the back of this as well. So Louis got to make the move now, because otherwise Mercedes is going to be on the action as well. And I think Mark Odems is trying to make the move on Dreads as well, which he has done. He's up into 7th place. This is already. I've already said this will turn on his head. This definitely is going to turn on his head, and we're seeing puddles start to. Well, we are going to see. It's getting very damp around Spain. It does fall mainly on the plane, and this is where it is. And a medium pilot's got a 3-second penalty. I'm not surprised. We are starting to get more penalties in these wet conditions. Lap 27 of 33. Matt Dibos still leads. We will possibly get. I think we will still get our 5th different winner of this season, which will be crazy, I've got to say, as obviously DRS is disabled, so all they're going to rely on really is slipstream. You can't really overtake here without DRS, but is Louis going to prove us wrong? Nope, he's not. He's staying behind Matt.
Yeah, Louis Louis can deny Matt being the 5th winner in the 5th race. Louis has won a race before. We mentioned it before in China. He won that race. And if he's able to win this one here, that would be the first. He would be the first driver to win 2 races this season. So for Louis, he would put himself in a very, very good position. He would, in fact, get really close to Rafa. In fact, he would tie Rafa right now.
Oh, look at
He
this.
would tie Rafa.
Look at this.
Oh.
Louis going to go around the inside. It's a bit of contact. Oh, there's contact. Matt Tibos has spun, I think. They both touched just a tiny bit. So, that, I think, he's lost. He got himself lucky there. I think it was only a minor bit of damage. But he's also going to
I don't think any damage
at all.
I can't see any damage at all on his front wing. It seems completely intact to me. So
I think it was just a
he
spin,
may have gotten away with no damage, but the bigger damage done to Matt's race is the time loss, obviously. He lost 8 seconds, 9 seconds out of this. A very, very unfortunate incident here. However, for Louis, that is the lead right now. And he now has a bit of clean air in front of him, so he can try to drive away from Kalkas, who he made a move on just a couple of laps ago. So he should have the pace to move away from the Finn behind him and drive to a victory if he makes no mistakes, which in these conditions is not a given.
Yep, it is not a given here, and I wonder what Matt will be thinking in his head right now. Will he decide to go to the wets to try and get better grip, or will he stay out? I think he'll stay out for the moment. He's still catching up to Nolan though. So the race for the podium, it's not over for Matt Tibos, considering it is his first race in ERL's top tier. He's still doing pretty well considering let me just see where he qualified. He started 10th or 11th, I can't remember. He started 10th or 11th. So, still being 4th is a great achievement for him. So, he's not giving up, and that is good.
He started 10th indeed. He was one of the 2, in fact, who started inside the top 10, but on the hards, who qualified on the hards. The other, well, would you look at that, is our leader, IRLT Louis.
He's gained 5th, 5 places. Kaikas has gained 9. He started 11th. So basically, we have seen some massive changes already. Odem's has gained 10. So, and we've seen some massive gains and we've seen some massive losers as well. And if you're wondering why Speed Barry has dropped it, he unfortunately lost it because he had a puncture and then he gave up. So that's why he's down in 12th. And let me get the tyres back because Wayne is in the pits and he's retired. Okay.
Yeah.
I think I know why.
The strategy really didn't work for him? No?
No, I think I know why, but I'm not going to say it on stream.
Okay.
And I know why Truesdale's retired as well, but I think it's for the exact same reason.
Okay. Well then.
I'm not going to say because we don't want to dampen the mood. Because I think some people might not have looked on Twitter yet. But I did, and not going to say.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I think I know what it is, yeah.
Yeah, you think you know what it is?
I'm pretty sure I know what it is, yeah.
That's probably,
but
if I was him,
Louis,
I wouldn't be racing if I heard that news, so...
Yeah,
that's probably the right decision, I think, for Rain.
Yeah, meanwhile, Kalkers, he's dropping back. The gap was 1.5 seconds, now we're over 2. So Kalkers is losing time. It looks like Louis is able to... to consolidate his lead here and drive to his 2nd victory this season in ERL.
Yep, I think it looks like the victory will go to him at the moment. Considering the way he's driving, he's tying that strategy perfectly. If I was to race in Spain again and similar conditions were to come, I would probably go on the hards, I think. But
yes.
But to be honest, it's different lobby to lobby. The rain might come earlier. The rain might come towards the end. So, and it's never the same in any lobby. So you just have to judge it. And Louis is the one that's judged it very well. We got yellow flag in set to 3. Lakiti's out as well. Yeah, a lot of people have retired, I think, for the same reason, because they've all retired in the pit lane.
Yeah, but I think
Won't be...
the yellow flag came for Janu, who was going slow, trying to let other cars pass as he is a lapped car, so he decided to go a little bit slower, and that's where the yellow flag came from.
Yeah, that's probably why as well. So we're down to, I think, 12 runners, or yeah, I don't know. I don't know how many runners we're in anyway. Yeah, Rayner's, I've confirmed he's no longer taking part. He has left. Rayner's left the session. So we've had, I think, now it's up to 6 different leaders so far this race. And Matt Tibos has lost a position to Medium Pilot.
Oh, they're still battling.
They are still battling, yes they are. And I think Medium Pilot has hold on to the position. Only just though.
Yeah, he made the move stick. Made the move stick so far. But it's not over, and I think Matt Tibbers might look for a revenge move. Try to get back past Medium Pilot. To at least get that 4th place after what was a really, really good race for him until that one spin when he made contact with Arlotti Louis in turn 1. Other than that, it was a really, really good race for Matt Tibbers, and the position that he's in right now does not reflect his driving today. Does not reflect his pace, his strategy. But let's see, maybe he can get a 4th place. Although, look at this, Medium Pilot already moved away a second.
I know Medium Pilot's got a penalty. I think. Not sure.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to look at it. I'm gonna look at this right now to see who has penalties. So Louis is really penalty free.
I can't really check that. Louis,
that's why I do it.
Nice.
Louis has no penalties. Neither has Kalkas. Nolan has no penalties. So the top 3 are penalty free. Medium Pilot is he does have a penalty in fact. 3 seconds. Matt does not. Marquez has 1 penalty and is close to getting a 2nd. Raikkonen has 8 seconds worth of penalties. A 5-second penalty from the pit stop when he was a little bit too fast coming in, and then another penalty picked up after that. So 8 seconds for Raikkonen. Drez is sitting at 9 seconds, and Zach is with no penalties. And Rafa 10th place right now, 1 penalty, 3 seconds.
This could spice things up towards the end if they get more penalties, I must say. So we are
but most of these drivers only have 1 warning, so they can even afford an additional warning without picking up a penalty. It's only for some drivers that have 2 that need to be a little bit more careful, but for the most part, it's just 1 warning, so they can even afford a 2nd warning here.
Yeah, they can. I think Louis can anyway. Louis has drove superbly this race. I think there's no foot wrong, and whoa, okay. You know, got a 10-second time penalty. What happened there? I don't know how that happened. I think that might be...
Corner cutting. I think he just went straight through the chicane.
Oh, did it? Oh, I think he did, didn't he? Well, if he didn't do that, it will be removed. But if he did, it won't. But... Oh,
he's spinning. He's spinning. Jano's spinning. He's at the end of turn 3 right now, and he's in the middle of the track. Thankfully, there's no one else around him, so not a big issue, as Louis is on this last lap anyway, and he's in the last sector, in fact. But, yeah, that was a little bit dangerous there from Jano, but either way, Louis now through the last chicane, then the last corner, and it will be his 2nd victory this season here in ERL on the PS4. Comes across the line to win the Spanish Grand Prix. What a race it was from the Toro Rosso driver, and Kalka's behind him. 6 seconds, he dropped off quite significantly, but still, 18 points to 2nd place for Kalkas, and Nolan 3rd, Medium Pilot 4th. Matt Tibbers 4th. There you go. Medium Pilot did get that penalty, and so Matt Tibbers actually does get 4th place overall because Medium Pilot was not able to get that gap out to Matt. So Matt jumps up one position. Marquez in 6th. Now everything's going to be jumbled through, but I think so Marquez 6th, Zach 7th, Raikkonen P8, Dres P9, and Rafa P10. He's not across the line yet, but that is sure, because P11 is across the line already, so we know that Rafa, even if he DNFs here, he would still be classified 10th.
Because it is pretty much he completed 90% of the race, so technically
Yeah.
you still get the point. But speaking of fastest lap point, Dres gets the fastest lap point because before the inters came about, he set a 1:20 lap time, so he gets the extra point today. So well done to him, because obviously he finished inside the top 10, so he gets that extra point, which will really help him. And I think Medium Pilot will extend to his rivals in the championship, and so will Marquez as well. So those are the two biggest gainers, I think, in the championship battle, and as well Louis in the top as well. He's 5th.
Yeah,
so
I think Louis is the biggest winner in the championship battle right here. He's moving up to 60
or 2nd.
No, he's tied with Rafa, and since he has more wins, he's ahead of Rafa.
Oh yeah,
he's ahead of Speedster because Speedster wasn't here. And Medium Pilot Marcus, we're gonna have to calculate that.
Yeah, we will.
But I think, honestly, Louis might have the lead with 65 points, tied with Rafa. But again, the tiebreaker is the amount of wins. Let's see. Marquez gets 8 points. He will be at 54. And Medium Pilot gets 10 points, so he'll be at 60. Yeah, Louis is your, well, at least in the unofficial standings. We never know what might come afterwards. But in the unofficial standings, IRLT Louis from 5th place moves up all the way into the championship lead.
Yeah,
in the Spanish Grand Prix.
2 wins this season. The first person to get 2 wins, which is well deserving. And we've got Nolan 3rd, Tibos 4th, Pilot 5th, Odem 6th, Zat 7th, Raikkonen 8th, Dres 9th, Rafa 10th. And your non-classified finishers are Barry, Hausland, Yanul, Lakitu, Wayne, Truesdale, and Normans. So that has been...
Yeah, and indeed, the fastest lap point does indeed go to FTO Dres, who will get 3 points for this race instead of 2, with a 120.1.
So that has been ERL Season 7, round number 5 here at Spain. I've been Jess, your commentator, and joining me was Austin. Thank you for filling in for Owen tonight. Did you enjoy yourself?
I had a lot of fun this race. It was a fantastic race. And next week, it will be
Monaco.
the one, the only, yes, the one, the only Monaco Grand Prix. The closest, tightest circuit on the F1 calendar. Hold on, that's September 7th, same time. And I hope, I mean, I would love to do it, but I hope Owen gets to fix his technical issues, and he will be back with you hopefully for next week.
Because yeah, but well, we'll find out on Wednesday anyway when they fix his internet. So you will find out then. But anyway, thanks for joining me. Thank you guys so much for watching as well. We'll see you same time next week at 5 o'clock for the Monaco Grand Prix. Have a good evening, everybody, and we will see you soon. Good night.
Goodbye.